Hey there, Teresa, with today's Anchored in Abundance session. Question for you. This morning, when your alarm went off or you just woke up naturally, what was your very first thought? And then right after that, when you reached for your phone, very first thing you did, or when you got out of bed, when you reached for your phone, where'd you go? How we begin our day, my friends, really sets the tone for the rest of our day. This morning, I had this huge aha because I woke and I felt energized, not just physically from rest, but emotionally. I felt excited about my day. I felt peaceful and even joy. And it was such a marked contrast from what I experienced most of last week and some of the week before, when life, as so many of us know it, blew up, when all of the upheaval of this coronavirus pandemic, just started to change everything. Our routines, the fear started to set in. We started to know it could come to the people we love. The numbers in the US and Italy were skyrocketing. And the fear started to take hold, not just in me or you individually, good morning, Kat, but like it was there taking hold in the collective energy we share. My coach Jeffrey called it the fear grid, kind of like a power grid. It was the fear grid. And we were at some level, I myself too, was tapping into it. This morning, such a different shift as I woke up. I paused to go, what had changed? And what had changed is what I offer to you. This morning, as I have done for many years, except for like the 2 weeks prior to this, my first words, my first thought when I woke up was, thank you. Just thank you. Wow, I'm here. And then when I reached for my phone, instead of going to MSN to see the latest on the coronavirus and the numbers and what happened overnight, I reached for my phone and I went to this spiritual morning prayer meditation that I've used before. And I listened to it. And when I got out of bed, I listened to music that really fed my soul. And what I realized had happened, the upheaval that I hadn't recognized, and this is what I want to share with you, is that for the previous 2 weeks, my life had started in many ways to center around the pandemic and all the repercussions of it. Like the primary focus of my life had become the upheaval and the pandemic. And everything I was doing was in reaction or response or paying attention to or thinking about that. Even the shifts that I was pondering in my business, it was focused on and in reaction or response to the pandemic. There's an illustration I use with my clients that I call the wheel of abundance. And as with any wheel, there's an axle that the wheel attaches to. What I realized is that the axle of my life, like everything was revolving around it in the previous 2 weeks, was the pandemic and all of the repercussions of it, was the upheaval and even the fear. Didn't even realize it. I was still praying. I was still meditating, but it was still my primary focus and energy and thought was still always there, the pandemic. And the last couple of days and this morning, I refused to let the first place I go on my phone be the news. I went back to thank you. I went back to beginning my day focused on, for me, God. And for maybe you, that's a different name. Could be divine, spirit, the source of love. I love to use all sorts of names for this God that we can never fully know. I went back to the axle that really is my life, the one who gives me life. And I began listening again to what that God is inviting me into. I've been anchoring myself in abundance because this God I believe in is abundance itself. It's that something bigger and more loving and more powerful and creative and life-giving than we are, my friends. And in that anchoring in abundance, reminding myself I have access to all that I need in this moment. I was doing that before, but it was around the pandemic. Even that was in reaction to the pandemic. And the shift was I went back to that's my primary focus. That's the connection I need to maintain. That's the place I must anchor myself. That's how I want to begin my day. Connecting with, opening to, listening to the one who's given me this day. Living my life, not the pandemic. I've been impacted, and I'm grateful that I haven't been impacted in the way so many have. Another person I know lost a brother to it just yesterday. I'm grateful for that. And part of the way I express my gratitude for that is I live my life today with gratitude and joy and hope and peace. I continue to create what there is for me to create with my life. I continue to show up to my God and to who I am and express that out into the world, sharing my gifts, sharing my contribution. And that adds life to the world. So it's a subtle shift, and it's a powerful one. Does that mean I'm not going to pay attention to the pandemic? Does it mean I'm not going to look at the news once today to just know and be aware of what's going on because awareness empowers me? No, I'm going to do that. But I'm not going to live my life in reaction to it, and I'm not going to start the gift of any precious day with it. Rather, as I begin my day, as I live my day, and as I end my day, my focus is on the one who's given me this day and this life, and using this life to bring life into the world we live in, to anchor myself in that something bigger, knowing I have access to what I need. As my friends, do you. We really do, or we wouldn't be here. So having done that little preface, maybe that was close to a rant. Hey, Laura, glad you could join. I really want to, again, for my own practice and to support you, let's take some time to stop all the doing, to stop all the whatever, and just bring ourselves present to the one who has given us this day and is giving us life right now, breath by breath by breath. Let us remember, by focusing on our breath, which we do not earn or deserve or create, it's gift we receive. Let us remember how we are meant to live life, opening to receive the gifts, the resources, the life force energy, the spirit of the God who created us, the guidance of the God who created us. Receive that. Use it, utilize it like our bodies use oxygen to give us life. And then letting that life flow through us to give life and love and hope and joy to others. So to do that, we're just going to sit still together for a few minutes here, maybe 3 or 4 minutes. And I just invite you, if you are able to just sit back, make yourself physically comfortable, close your eyes, and just begin to breathe in that gift. That gift. That gift that you and I have still been given, which, if nothing else in the world we're living in right now, has become an even more precious gift, one we cannot take for granted. Breathe that in, remembering that you didn't make this oxygen that's giving you life. That's given you by the one who created you. And this oxygen field that we're all sharing in right now is so much bigger than, the room that I'm in or you're in. And so we can tap into that, and we can let it fill us with life. And then as we exhale with that thank you for that gift, we're sending life energy out into the world. Just invite you to let this rhythm, this flow of life, receiving, absorbing and utilizing, and then sending out, releasing. If ever today you catch yourself caught in that fear of like, I gotta make this happen. How am I gonna make this happen? Just go back to your breath and remember, oh yeah, I didn't make the oxygen. Oh, I'm part of something bigger. Let me connect there. Let me anchor myself in that truth. And that belief that I have access to all that I need. I may not know how to access it, but let me start with that belief and open myself to the guidance that may be there for me, to the support I might be able to avail myself of. Divine support or actual human support. As you breathe in that yes and that thank you, just bring yourself here to this moment. Nothing to do, only open to the life that you're being given and to the one who is giving you life and is filling you with the divine spirit right now. Be aware of the giftedness of it. And as we begin to close our time here together, first, I invite you to stay on another minute or two just to bask in this longer. But in recognizing the giftedness of this breath, this day, your life being alive, how will you live today, my friend? How will you live today? Because our lives and the life force that fills us with life is bigger than the pandemic. It's more eternal than the pandemic. And so I invite you to just affirm all of this, what resonated with you, what supported you, what helped you to anchor in and relax and release and open to peace and open to joy. It's the gift you're being given today. I invite you to just take 3 more of these breaths in this ritual I do with all my clients and simply say yes on the inhale. Yes to this life force energy, this divine love, this gift of this day you're being given. And then thank you on the exhale. Do that 3 times. And tomorrow, I pray that your first words will be thank you. And the first thing you reach for will be something that reminds you of this, that anchors you in abundance. Be safe, be well, and enjoy your life today. And I'll be back tomorrow if you want to join me. Blessings. Bye-bye.